Yo, what's good? It's ABD here, just checking in to make a quick beat video on the MPC500. Never used these before, but I happen to have two here. Looking after them for my boy IRN MNKY, who kindly lent them to me to shoot the video for Burgundy, which if you haven't seen that, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. It's basically like a punchline track, written like a vulnerable love song to the MPC, and at the end there's this scene where I'm basically in the supermarket with our babies, the baby MPCs, a couple of these in the baby seats of the trolley. Anyway, while I got it, thought I'd have a little play about with it. Great little machine, really affordable. I've seen them go for as cheap as 138 quid on eBay before. One limitation is that they've only got stereo outputs and you can't expand that. But I figured if I just use this as a sequencer sampler like the S3000XL, which is also really affordable. I got that for like 50 quid, so combined cost of like under 200 quid. Got all the benefits of like an MPC 3000 basically. You got the 8 outputs, you got that sound, you got the filter, and you got all the benefits of key group programs as well, if that's interesting to you, rather than just drum programs on an MPC. So thought I'd have a little play about and make a beat and see how this goes. So to set this up, basically I just need one MIDI cable, just going from that MIDI out of the MPC to the MIDI in of the sampler. Don't need the other one. The only reason I've got this plugged into the headphones is just to hear the click on the metronome, because all the sound's going to be coming from the sampler. And then first thing you need to do in the screens is just set up your tracks. Like, I'm just going to use one program on one sampler basically, so keep it simple. I'm going to use a few tracks, so I'll have like a hi-hat, a kick, a bass, a snare, and a main sample or whatever. So call it, say, 5 tracks. So you go in your sequence screen there, you hit track 1, params, you want to go program off, because we're not going to be using an MPC program. That's in the program assign bit. And then scroll, leave mute track off. MIDI channel, turn it to whatever MIDI channel you're going to be setting your sampler to. I'm going to set that to 1. You can go anything from 1 to 16. You have one MIDI channel for that whole sampler. You know, you don't need a different MIDI channel for each track or anything like that. MIDI channel 1 will do. Track type, instead of drum, you want it on MIDI, because we're sending MIDI. We're not using the drum programs on the MPC. And that's it. I can't be asked to name them. Yeah, so then just do that for each track. I'm going to do 5 of them. So track 2, do the same. Params, program assign. MIDI channel 1, and so on. So I've done that for all 5 tracks that I'm going to use. I've set them for MIDI. Now, to keep this video simple, I've loaded a program to the sampler that I've made and used already in the past. It's got a bunch of generic drum sounds in it and a bass sound. So each drum sample is in its own key group, which has a span of only one note, one key. And the bass sound is in a key group that spans a couple of octaves. That's like how I would normally set up a program. So you got, and a few other bits and bobs. Now, if you want to figure out which pad is going to trigger which sample, all you got to do is hit mode, then hit pad 7, which is the MIDI sync mode pad. Then you scroll through. So that says default assign. Now in default assign, any pad you hit, it'll tell you what note is assigned to it. So B10, that means I'm in bank B, it's pad 10, and that is assigned to C sharp 4, the 4th octave C sharp, aka note 73, the 73rd note on the keyboard. Whatever pad it'll just tell you. Then you can reference that against your sampler. So you can see that I've got a key group here which has a span of note 73 to note 73. If you want to check what sample is on that key group, just press sample. See, I've got hi-hat in there. I'm hitting that pad, triggering that sample now. If you don't want that sample in there, just change it. Scroll through to a sample you do want on that. But I'm going to keep it on that hi-hat too for now. So now let's just sequence some music. Go back to your track mode. Get on track 1. On the track 2. Track 3, get some kick drum on it. Track 4, lay down some bass. Then, like, if you want that bass to be quieter, which I think I do, just go through to key group. Scroll through the key groups to the one that's got that sine wave on it. Sample 2 page, turn it down along this there. That'll do for me. One last thing to add, I'm just going to sample a new sample off of a Sarah Vaughan record just to give the beat a bit of unique flavour. So I'll do that, go onto the sample screen, and then to create a new sample you basically start on an existing sample, press name, and then type in your name for your new sample and then press enter, and that'll create the new sample. So I'm just going to call it Vaughan, V-A-U-G, oh, if I can get my spelling right, G-H-A-N. Enter, and then to record it, press record to go onto the record screen, and then you're going to need to set your amount of time on there. 10 seconds should be enough, and then when you actually want to hit record you press and as soon as the volume goes over the threshold, which is set to -20 dB at the minute, then it'll start recording. I'll just do that now. So that's a sample in there. I'm just going to chop that down. Sample, edit, trim, navigate to start point of sample. And do the same with the end point. That's about right, actually. Cut. That'll do for now. So now I just need to insert that sample into the program for use. To do that, I need to find an empty pad. There's one. Figure out what note it is. We're doing what I showed you earlier. Mode. B flat 3, which will be called A sharp 3 in the sample. The same thing, B flat A sharp. Then I'm gonna just create a new key group for that. So key groups in program 22. I'm gonna up that to 23. Active key group number, no, 23. And the span of that, it needs to be A sharp 3 to A sharp 3. There we go. To set what the sample is in it, I'm going to go into there, put it to that Vaughn. There we go. So I'm hitting the pad, and it's triggering the sample. It's a higher pitch because when I've sampled it, I've assigned that to middle C, and there's a setting that says that because I'm playing it on A sharp 3, that's up tuned it. That's cool. We'll check if that sounds dope or not, and if it doesn't, then we can play around with the tuning of it after. Doesn't have to be the original pitch, obviously. It can be down tuned, up tuned, whatever. So let's just check that. I reckon that's a bit too high. I'm just going to go into the sample, key group, sample, then sample 2 page, drop that a semitone. I reckon that sounds nice. Might just play with the filter a bit as well. Yeah, I think that sounds dope. So I'm just going to record a little sequence with that. Just going to turn off full level and use not repeat a bit. So now I've got a nice little sequence mapper. We're going to play about using the track mute function, then we're out.